U.S. small business bankruptcies are going through the roof, and we're watching freight across the world coming to a grinding halt. The world economy, the world engine is sputtering to a stop. This is what a downturn looks like. This is what a recession looks like. This is what a depression very much looks like. And we're seeing signs of it everywhere. I'm going to walk you through some of the things that are going on right now. If you don't have your shelter set up just yet, friends, you need to be getting it ready. You need to have a job that is going to get you through the hard times. And it's all about who you know and making sure that you're connected to people with money, so that way you're going to get a paycheck even when the times get tough for a lot of people. You need to be getting a lot of other stuff in order, like what happens if you lose your job. If you're already retired, make sure that your money is safe and secure. Make sure it's in precious metals. All the stuff that we've been talking about on this channel, making sure you have your food stockpile. We're going to walk you through some of that towards the end of the video, but I really want to walk you through what is going on right now that has the alarm bells going off in a lot of people's heads. People who are paying attention are seeing big problems. The stock market's starting to sputter. And why is that? Because the market insiders are seeing the same things that I'm going to be pointing out to you. All right. One of the first things that we're going to be talking about is the fact that college graduates can't get jobs. We're just seeing this across the board. People are graduating good schools. They're graduating with good degrees. And then they're having to go either work at McDonald's, Panera Bread, or they're working food service somewhere because they just can't get a job in their field. I mean, think about it. Who are they competing against? They're competing against artificial intelligence. Now, if you've ever been in a job where you had to train new workers, you know how dumb new workers are, right? I mean, if you've been in a workplace for a while, you kind of understand how the workplace works. You understand how everything's done. And when you bring somebody new in there and they're like, why? Why does it have to be done like that? And one, you don't really want to think about it because that's just the way things are, right? I mean, you don't want to have to think about that. You don't want to even care about it because it's not worth changing, right? But you bring a new person in, you have to train them completely from scratch on so many things that some of those things seem counterintuitive. But that's just the way things need to get done in order for everything to be done consistently. Anyway, now companies are looking at people and going, is it easier to train a computer once, which is, I mean, training a computer to do something is harder for sure. But at the same time, once you figure out how to train the computer, you don't have to keep training it again and again and again and again and again. It'll just kind of do it. Now, it's a monumental engineering task, software, components, hardware, all the kind of stuff like that. Hey, it's up till now, it's been easier to train a whole bunch of people how to make fries at McDonald's than it has been to train a machine to make fries at McDonald's. But there is a day coming quickly where McDonald's and other fast food restaurants are going to go, you know, it's just easier to have a machine. It's cheaper, it's more efficient, and we don't have to train people, and we don't have HR issues because machines get burned by the oil. That just kind of happens, and the machine doesn't complain about it, right? So we have all this happening out there, and people at information jobs are having to compete with people on the other side of the world, people who are foreigners who are willing to work for half the price from China or some other country. And these companies are able to offshore without actually sending their offices overseas. They can just send the task out onto the internet, and more and more positions can be replaced from a remote worker. Part of the problem is that we made so many jobs remote because those jobs either could be done remote. We found that out during the cough epidemic, right? But that means, well, why have a remote worker here when you can have a remote worker somewhere else and it's cheaper? That really puts everybody in the marketplace on an even footing. And there are people in other countries willing to work harder and willing to kind of close the gap in order to make themselves legitimate. And then you got artificial intelligence making it even worse that you're not just competing against those people in other countries, you're also competing against the computers. So entry-level workers are finding that they are being replaced, or they're not being given the chance because companies are not sure which way they want to go. This is devastating for younger generations and is the perfect recipe for regime change. Just going to throw that one out there, and we'll see what happens next. But if they vote for a socialist next time around, you kind of know what happened. And let's just say Republicans are not polling so well. There's lots of great stuff happening, and people our age and above are probably thinking that this is moving in the right direction. But younger people are pinning all the inflation, all the problems with the workforce, all the effects of having massive government debt. They're pinning all that on President Trump. And that's just how they're going to vote. So anyway, moving on. We got Suez Canal, one of the most important waterways in all of the world. The Suez Canal has traffic that is dropping off a cliff, particularly with container ship traffic. Now, at first it doesn't seem that way because you're like, it's just kind of going flat. But you got to remember that there are a bunch of Houthis sitting on Houthiville with their missiles and their drone boats blowing up ships. And so most of the carriers were like, let's take our ships the long way around Africa because, you know, having our ships end up with holes in them is not great. And paying for military people to be on the ships, private contractors, is expensive. It's just cheaper to send it the long way around. Plus, they don't get banged up and damaged. It's just better that way. So most of the cargo ships have been going around Africa for months and months and months. Now, recently, the Houthis have stopped blowing up ships, which is, you know, it's like they're developing character-wise. I don't know. But with peace in Gaza, Houthis have stopped shooting at people, generally speaking, and so people have started taking their ships back through the Suez Canal. Basically, all other ship traffic other than cargo ships, container ships, have gone up by over 20% in just the last month. But container ships are dead even. So all those ships that aren't going around the long way anymore and are going through the Suez Canal, it's showing that the China to Europe route is dropping off a cliff, down at least 20% just in the last month and a half. That's a big deal. We're seeing rates for shipping are dropping dramatically. And it's not just because of the Suez Canal Houthi thing, okay? This is across the board. This is from China to the United States. We're seeing shipping rates dropping because nobody has any freight to move. And this is causing a real problem because we just built a whole bunch of new cargo ships that China is going to use as military ships. Sorry, we weren't supposed to know that. Because all those Chinese cargo ships that can put containers on there can put those Club K missiles inside those containers on top of those cargo ships in order to attack their enemies from above and from the side. And now we've seen over in Ukraine that you can also put drones inside these things. You can put a whole bunch of explosive drones and take out people's airfields from a very long distance away. So don't worry, I'm sure the Chinese will find some use for these container ships. But the problem is they've been rolling out container ships like nobody's business, and there just isn't enough cargo to move. Chinese factories are sputtering to a halt. The economy in China is faltering pretty dramatically, which a unstable China is not good news for the countries around China. If they have internal problems, that means the government of China is going to be facing internal threats. And the best thing for them to do, historically speaking, is to create an external enemy. Their people will gladly accept the suffering of war rather than, than rise up, because they need to do their part to defeat the enemy. But if they wait too long, they're going to become the enemy. The government will become the enemy of the people. And that's where we're headed. And I think President Xi kind of knows that's where we're headed. And so we may be seeing action happen in the near future. Now, not the immediate future because it's still typhoon season. And in addition to that, we also have Chinese warships are out on excursions, all sorts of other places. I expect those main battleships are going to be coming back to the South China Sea or close to home before they do anything really rash or major around Taiwan. But they don't have their factories spinning out stuff like normal. And that is a big problem. Americans aren't importing as much stuff. We got Europe not importing as much stuff. People are struggling financially. And this is an economic downturn. We also have U.S. agriculture is complaining badly about the ugly trade war fees that have been imposed upon Chinese ships. Now, it's been temporarily suspended, but this is going to be, in the end, $50 per ton, net ton, not the tonnage of the ship, but the actual cargo itself. We're talking about soybeans, corn, whatever we're exporting, about $50 per ton, just a fee for those ships to come into U.S. ports. Now, this is designed in order to try to get shipbuilders to build American ships so that they can avoid these fees when they pull up into American ports. The problem is, there just aren't American shipbuilders. There's a couple shipbuilders, but they're very limited and they're very specialized. They create a specific type of fast cargo ships that are made to resupply Puerto Rico, that are made to resupply Hawaii and some parts of Alaska. They are not really designed to just move bulk cargo back and forth across the Pacific, let alone the Atlantic. So we're seeing big problems out there. Farmers are just like, this is making us uncompetitive. Now, China has promised to buy a whole bunch of soybeans, and they've never broken their word before, except every single time they've promised this. Every time they've had this conversation with President Trump, they've broken their promise. Every time they said, we're going to buy X amount of stuff, they never do. So don't hold your breath for them to actually buy all that agricultural stuff that they promised President Trump. They wanted immediate relief for their stuff to come in, their manufactured stuff to come into the United States, and with the promise of way out there in the future, at some point, we're going to go buy your stuff, which they won't. And everybody knows it. So are there going to be consequences for China this time? Probably not. So these fees on Chinese ships that basically other countries are using. I mean, you got the Chinese are building cargo ships. You got the South Koreans building a lot less cargo ships, but they build a fair amount. Japan builds some cargo ships, and then like nobody else builds ships. There's a couple European places where they build some specialized ships, but when you start talking about these big cargo ships, they're basically built either in South Korea, Japan, or China. And most of them are built in China these days. Anyway, so most of these ships, whenever they come into the United States, they have to pay this massive fee. So they're just not going to come to the United States. And so when we need these dry bulk ships coming in to haul away the corn, the soybeans, the other genetically modified garbage that nobody wants, that's the real issue. Other countries have imposed restrictions and bans or at least advertising flags to be put on all the genetically modified stuff, all the stuff that Americans end up eating without knowing what's in there. Other countries are like, that's garbage and that's nasty stuff created by lab technicians. We don't want that stuff. We want real food. And so these other countries who don't have skin in the game with this genetically modified food stuff, they're just banning it. They're making it so that they just won't import it. So American farmers are cranking out this stuff that less and less people around the world are willing to import. less and less people in the world are willing to buy. And farmers are over a barrel now. They can't plant their own seeds anymore. They've signed these contracts. They can't get out of these contracts. These Monsanto and these other seed companies, they have trapped farmers so badly over a barrel that they can't get out of these contracts, and they have to keep using the brand genetically modified stuff, but then they can't sell that very easily. So the only simple answer here is to make Americans eat all the garbage that these genetically modified factories have produced. Anyway, so the economy is slowing down. College graduates can't get jobs. The Suez Canal is showing how bad freight is dropping off a cliff. Not to mention what we're seeing with rate decreases. It's getting a lot cheaper to ship stuff across the ocean, which is good on the surface of things, but lots and lots of truck drivers are going out of business. Many thousands have gone out of business because there have been lots and lots of others that have come in, foreigners who have come in to drive trucks, and Americans can't afford to be on the road and making minimum wage. There's too much supply for truck drivers and trucks and not enough freight to move. And as the economy falls apart in the United States, we're seeing that this is going to be a really nasty depression. And I say depression intentionally. A depression is a very long recession. The truth is we're already in the recession. It's just getting worse, and it's headed in the wrong direction. All right, friends, hopefully you guys are building your fortress. What can you do? If you have a job, you need to be thinking about, do you need to move from your current job before it disappears? Are you providing value that artificial intelligence and foreigners can't supplant? One of the best questions, or one of the best places to be, is, are you serving people who are making a lot of money? Are you serving people who are going to continue to make a lot of money, or who have a lot of money? Let's just say the people that run the marina for the rich people are probably going to do fairly well in a downturn. You go back during the Great Depression, people who worked for the rich people did fairly well. People who ran the five and dime stores, who were selling stuff to people who were losing their jobs and losing their houses, they did not do well. So any way that you can pivot your job or your job to work with a more elite clientele will potentially protect you. Is that great for the country? No, it's not, but it might be good for you. All right. In addition to that, if you have a retirement account, if you have money stockpiled for the future, if you're kind of living off your reserves, or you hope to do so in the future, that's when we really kind of recommend talking with a company like Genesis Gold Group. I really like them because of their Christian values. They have a great track record. They've been working with us for over 4 years, and I hear from you guys how they've treated you. And they treat you well. I have not heard complaints about them. This is a very, very good company. They take care of people. They answer your questions. They don't pressure you. When you're like, I don't want to do it, they back off, right? I mean, some companies out there in the industry, they don't. Also, Genesis Gold is very good about answering your questions, letting you know what the fees are going to look like up front, let you see everything, and you can make a decision whether you want to move forward with them or not. Friends, we've been partnering with Genesis Gold for a long time, and they are into precious metals, and they want to get you into precious metals. If you haven't ever been, or if you have money on the sidelines that you want to move into them, this is a great time to do that. Yeah, they're at all-time highs, but it's going to go a lot higher. Precious metals are going to ride you out through the storm. All right, friends, if you have questions about that, pop them down in the comments down below, but I'll put down the pinned comment down below Genesis Gold's number. Genesis Gold, if you reach out to them directly, make sure you mention this channel so they waive your setup fee, which could save you hundreds of dollars. Also, there's a link. You can go to the website, just peruse their website and see if it's something you want. They also have a lot of free resources if you ask them for them, or you reach out to them directly and ask them for the silver guide, the gold guide. You can get the Bible and gold book if you ask them, right? Lots of different options like that, and they'll walk you through stuff. All right, friends, you can find that down in the pinned comment down below, or you can just click on the link right here, fill out your information, and they'll get in contact with you. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.